Good evening to all. I'm
Good
Ram
evening.
Kumar, Vice President of CCC. I'm very happy to welcome you all for this webinar series, which is conducted under the auspices of World Accreditation Day 2020, which falls on 9th June every year. And this year's topic is food safety, and we are conducting series of webinars on food safety. Today is webinar number 18, and today's topic is food safety awareness for consumers and homemakers. About CCC, Consultants Consortium of Chennai is an association of management system consultants registered under the Tamil Nadu Societies Registration Act 1975. The key objective of CCC is to work in alignment with the National Quality Mission launched by the Government of India by educating the industry about the role and importance of standards, certifications and regulations in the country as well as in the global markets. CCC strives to encourage responsible consulting through members of its association, and focus is to standardize consulting practices in alignment with changing market and industry needs in a dynamic manner. The focus is also to identify areas and industries in which the consultants in the profession of management system consulting can contribute to the betterment of the society and the country, and to promote management system consulting in such areas or industries. One of the core objectives is to collaborate with various industry platforms, trade associations, chambers of commerce, management associations, apex bodies of government or quasi-government organizations to contribute to the betterment of the industry initiatives, which will in turn contribute to the betterment of the society. About World Accreditation Day 2020, it's a global initiative established by ILAC and IAF. This year's theme is how accreditation improves food safety. Accreditation has an important role in food safety by ensuring competent and impartial inspection, certification and testing services in all parts of local, national and international food chains. In doing so, accreditation supports the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, in particular the Good Health and Well-being Goal, SDG 3. Accreditation can be applied to a wide variety of assessment, approval or evaluation tasks, and is used by business, government and regulators to help deliver a safer world. Now, I invite Sri Alok Jain ji, who is the Director of Training and Capacity Building Division, to introduce about the TCB. Over to Alok Jain, sir.
Oh, thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. My name is Alok Jain. I'm the Director and Head of Training and Capacity Building Division of Quality Council of India. As just mentioned, June 9 is marked as the World Accreditation Day, which is a global initiative of ILAC and IAF. And this is a great effort what the Consultants Consortium of Chennai is doing. They are celebrating this VAT not for one day, June 9, but they are having series of webinars on food safety. I thank Consortium for this great effort and giving me an opportunity to introduce the new division of Quality Council of India. As you all know that Quality Council of India is having various boards called NABCB, NABL, NABH, NABET and NBQB, responsible for the different accreditation activities. Like NABCB is one giving the accreditation to certification body and inspection bodies. NABL is for the laboratories. NABH is for the hospital accreditations. NABET is in the field of education sectors. And NBQP is for the promotion of quality. There is a new division which is created under quality ambit of Quality Council of India called Training and Capacity Building Division. We intend to give the training in various domains, right from quality management to inspection bodies, laboratories, food safety, healthcare, education, manufacturing, environment and all. We look forward to have the association with government, regulators and ministries and various associations as well. We are working very closely with the Chennai Consultant Consortium of Chennai to get into this domain. Thank you very much for giving an opportunity to introduce Training and Capacity Building Division. Thank you.
Thank you, Alok ji, for that very good introduction about TCB. Now, today's webinar presenter is Srimati Krishna Datta, and co-presenter is Sri Appaji Rao. Now I hand over the session to the presenter of today's webinar, Srimati Krishna Datta, and she will introduce herself and the co-presenter. Over to you, madam.
Thank you so much. So good evening, everybody, and thank you, Consultants Consortium of Chennai, for giving me this opportunity to really do this food safety awareness program. In fact, it was really enriching. Like today, we are almost towards the end of this entire month's webinar series, every webinar that we did throughout this month really added value to each one of us and the industry. So thank you very much for this initiative, and I really look forward to doing such things ahead in future as well. So about today's webinar, we just thought that this is one of the most important section in our value chain, which we need to address. And that's why we chose to do a food safety awareness program for the food consumers and the homemakers. So this particular session will have two features to it, where we'll talk about your rights and responsibilities as a food consumer and your rights and responsibilities as a homemaker. So just giving you a brief introduction about me and my co-presenter. So my name is Krishna Datta, and by qualification, I'm a microbiologist. And for the past 20 years, I've been in the area of food safety and food manufacturing. So around food safety, definitely I have worked as an auditor, as a trainer, and as a consultant. As an auditor, I did a number of food safety audits in many organizations across the country. As a trainer, I did a number of trainings across the country as well as abroad. And currently also I'm doing assessments and trainings for CII. There is a Food Safety Award, which is initiated by CII. And I'm one of the senior assessors for CII. And I'm also a national resource person for learning for Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. So with our contribution to this webinar, we are looking at contributing to the consumers and the homemakers. So that is a little about me. I would request Sri Appaji Rao to introduce himself a little.
Yeah.
Sir, are you there? Can you please check if Mr. Appaji Rao is there?
Madam, he is not available. Maybe I think there is some connectivity problem.
Okay,
he might
it could
join
be a network
later. You
issue.
can continue, madam.
No
Once
problem.
he joins, we can introduce him. Okay?
Sure, sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I would request everyone to just be on mute for some time. Of course, this webinar is completely interactive after a particular point. So I will definitely let you know when you can unmute yourself and we can start interacting.
చిన్న మ్యూట్ అంటే ఏంటి అన్మ్యూట్ అంటే ఏంటి
Okay, so in our section 1 we will speak about your rights and responsibilities as food consumers. So each one of us is a food consumer. Yes, no.
Unmute అంటే నువ్వు unmute చేసి మాట్లాడతావు.
Yes, we are consumer.
We are all consumers, right? But in this COVID situation, plus, too many things happening around us, there is already a prevailing state among us. And this actually has created a lot of concern in this value chain. So we have a sense of fear. We are not very confident about so many things coming to us. Also, there is there's a environment of no trust currently. So through this webinar, we will also make an attempt to bring back the trust and confidence within the food industry that each of us may have lost over a period due to this pandemic. So just to begin with, let me just tell you that as a food manufacturer, and almost all the packaged foods that you get in your house also or through the stores, The manufacturing units definitely have a very clean environment, and the food handlers or the people who prepare the foods there, it could be anything right from chips to your frozen parathas to maybe processing chicken or processing mutton. Usually a food handler in a factory is dressed up like this. They have complete overalls to the extent that their hair is covered, their nose and mouth is covered, even their hands are secured through hand gloves. So whatever is manufactured at a manufacturing unit definitely is safe when it leaves the unit. So we will go through the chain, and we will also see how as a consumer we need to be responsible in ensuring that the food remains safe even when we are consuming it. So first let us begin with some rights of the consumers of food. Okay. All of us have a right to safe food. We have a right to information about the food so as to facilitate an informed choice. I'll tell you detail about each one of them. Just let us first go through the rights that we have. Then a choice of foods at competitive prices. We have a right to be heard. We have a right to be protected against unfair and restrictive trade practices. We have a right to consumer education, and we have a right to grievance redress. And if you want to know more about your rights, need to see a little more explanation about how you can go about it, there is this link that I have shared in this presentation, and you can go to that link as well. Now, when we are talking about all these rights, can any one of you tell me if you really knew about them earlier? Any one of you?
No, not. We are not aware.
Yeah. So what I request each one of you to do is, please make yourself aware, look at things around you. You know, everywhere there are information about the rights of the consumers. And if you do not use your rights appropriately, definitely you will never be able to understand where there has been a concern in the value chain. Okay, so please be aware of it. Now, even the consumer rights are protected by the Food Safety and Standards Act. So what happens when we talk about your right to safe food? So please understand that the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India has made it compulsory for the FBOs, that is the food business operators, to actually do a standardization of their food product, and it is completely based on science. Also, when they make a product, these products are subjected to testing and analysis every 6 months to ensure that they do not have anything that could be a hazardous for the consumer. For example, these products actually get tested for things like heavy metal and pesticide residue as well, besides being microbial safe. So any food product manufacturer has to submit their samples for testing for pesticide residues, for heavy metal, for microbial status every 6 months. So FSSAI has ensured that the food that reaches your house remains safe as far as it is a packaged food. Also by ensuring that you make an informed choice through the label information. So how many of you actually read the labels before you buy the food? Hello?
Madam, at least I will see the best before date, madam.
Okay, the best before date. Anything else that you all read about?
Always, I'll also see the mark that is there, whether it is a green dot or that is a
okay, that's the
maroon dot.
vegetarian or the non-vegetarian mark.
Yeah.
Very good. Anything else?
Yes, again,
Expiry of the book.
yeah.
Expiry, the use by or the best before. Yeah. Anything else?
Manufacturing date.
Ma'am, I see the date and batch of manufacturing.
Okay, that's
How
good.
many days it will be consumed after opening,
Okay, perfect. Great.
or
That's
any
important.
precautions taken or not.
Correct. Okay. Anything else?
We should see mainly because keeping in the mind of kids.
Absolutely. Perfect. So these
Adults we
labels,
can understand, but in the place of kids, they'll be eating everything.
correct. So that's why you have to be
Biscuit
very
packet,
careful.
okay, I got it, I'll be eating.
Yeah, you need to look at the labels because
And,
these
another
labels
thing
are
is-
your source of information, and it will also prohibit misleading claims or misrepresentation on labels and advertisements.
And
So-
maida should be consumed less.
Okay, we will come to that a little later. Okay, so now we are not talking about the food per se. We are talking more about the food safety and the consumer awareness around it.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so why we talk about FSSAI prohibiting misleading claims? So none of the packaged foods actually can make a claim which actually may not be really there. So there is a law which actually governs this. And also if they are found to be not following the legal requirement, then there is punishment around it. And if that label was not giving sufficient information and the food was unsafe, and if somebody has been impacted, then there is also a compensation for the same. So as a consumer, we need to know this. So now when we talk about reading labels, as each one of you said that you look for the best before or the use by, my invitation to each one of you is to look for something more in this. Does anybody ingredients list? Hello?
Madam, can you repeat that?
Does anybody go through the ingredients list?
Sometimes we go through, madam.
Okay.
Sometimes.
But
It
why
depends
is it
on the-
necessary to look at the ingredients?
Sometimes the allergens may be there.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. How many of you all are aware of allergens here? Or anything you know about allergens?
Ma'am,
We just
someone
know that-
will be allergy of milk.
Okay. Milk and milk products?
Milk
Probably
product.
yes. Yeah. What
And,
else?
colors which are added in food ingredients.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I could see Shalini Gupta wanting to say something. Shalini, you want to say something?
No, I was just saying that those allergies are only conforming to my allergies. So I look
Correct.
for things which I am allergic to or my family. And
Exactly.
that's where I see the nutritional value and the nutrients and the things included in
Absolutely.
the whole. Yeah.
Correct. So when you look at the ingredient list, you have to be very careful in reading it and really look for any ingredient that you see which you may not know about or you may be allergic to. Okay, and for
Like
this
nuts.
you may have to know about the allergies. Okay, before you really buy a product. So that's why it's important that you look at the ingredient list. Then also you need to look at the storage instructions. Why do you need to look at the storage instructions?
It may be stored in a place where allergens are processed or kept.
But even if it is stored at a place where allergens are processed, how will it actually be unsafe? Or what is the importance of having that storage instruction?
Storage is very important because that storage, suppose I say that it should not be kept in a refrigerator, for example. There
Okay.
is an instruction that do not refrigerate. Supposing by unmindedly, unknowingly, we just keep that food or that pack in the fridge, it may lose its nature, and it may become unfit for consumption.
It may become unfit for consumption or may not be true, but definitely if it has lost its texture and other attributes, you may not find it nice to eat. Okay. Storage instructions play a very big role, especially where there are very specific instructions around it. Okay. For example, if you are buying some food that requires refrigeration, for example, butter, you need to keep it
Ma'am.
refrigerated. Yes, yes, somebody wants to say something.
Ma'am, sometimes sunlight also means other products also react with sunlight. So storage
Correct.
instructions are important.
Absolutely. So they may tell you store in a cool and dry place. Keep away from sunlight.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct? So these are very important instructions and they are required to be followed because the food is a very vulnerable product and they may lose its integrity if instructions are not followed appropriately. Okay? Next, we come to instructions for handling or using. Why are they important? Instructions for handling or using. Hello?
Certain food products has to be, if you open the packet, supposing if you're opening it, you have to consume it fully. You cannot keep it halfway. There are some
Correct.
food items like that. So
Very
we
good.
need to read the instructions for handling and usage is very important. Either we can
Right.
use it fully, or you can use it partially for your own consumption and keep
Yeah.
it. Rather than also supposing we are even using partially, the remaining portion in which is there in the container or in the packet, how it has to be stored and how it has to be handled, whether it has to be sealed again or kept it in a tight container. So those type of things, I think we need to take into consideration.
Very good. Can you give any example of any product?
UHT treated milk cartons available in milk.
Correct. So the UHT treated milk has a shelf life of about 6 months. Okay. But the moment you open the pack,
3 days, yes.
you have to consume it within 5 days. And you have to keep the product refrigerated. So you have to be very careful and you have to read the instructions for handling and using when you are actually looking for all the management of that product. Okay. Then the next thing that you need to, yes.
Does it mean, I'm Sheila here,
Yeah,
does it
Sheila.
mean that if you, when they say best before 18 months,
Yeah.
does it mean that there is a time span that you can use even after that, or is it a strict no?
Ideally, no. Okay. Though the manufacturer may have kept some buffer time, but as a consumer, please do not take the risk.
Okay.
Please understand, as a consumer, the food has moved from the manufacturer to a number of places before it came on your table. Okay.
Oh, but I'm sure he's kept that in mind already, isn't it?
Definitely. No. Perfect. But do you want to take the risk?
Yeah, but sometimes the product is so expensively bought, and because of negligence.
So obviously, no. This is exactly the point. Why we are doing this webinar.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. Please do mindful buying. Please, around food. Food is a resource. You and I don't have a right to waste it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, ma'am, I'll speak to you after the seminar. I need your advice on something very important.
Sure. We'll speak.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. So the next thing that you need to know is about FSSAI license number, because this is just an information, and this is to ensure that it is coming from a source which is actually in compliance with your regulation. Okay. And then you check for nutritional facts. Many of us are worried about the energy values, the calories around it, whether it has enough protein. So this nutritional facts, more than the food safety aspect, it is important for you to make an informed choice. So nobody can just tell you that, okay, you must eat this will give you so much. No, when somebody is actually writing the nutritional facts on a label, that means they have been verified properly. And that's why they are writing the nutritional facts.
But ma'am, quite like that FSAI, that instructions, a license number, how do we know, like for example, when we have a phone in our hands and we can kind of read the QR code and things like that. So when this code is being, license number is being placed in the front, suppose we scan our phones on it, will we know whether it is original or fake?
See, usually the retailer takes care of it. Okay. Depending on from where you're buying. Okay.
But normally, if you do that, we'll not come to know whether it's fake or not, right?
I'm not very sure about it because
Okay.
that's not something that we have really worked on yet.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Done. Yeah.
So now responsibility as a buyer. Okay, when you are actually buying, say in a supermarket or in a grocery store, please ensure that you are reading the label thoroughly before you pick it up from the shelf and place it in your shopping basket or your trolley. Check the packaging integrity of the product. If you see that it is tampered or pilfered, bring it to the notice of the person there, whoever is handling that section in the store. Bring it to their notice. Look for signs of bloating in canned foods or Tetra Paks and let them know about it. That means that food has already got spoiled inside. When you're buying refrigerated or frozen foods, please make it a habit to buy it in the end before you just check out. Can you tell me the reason for this? Any one of you? Quickly.
Temperature change can harm the food.
Exactly. So it can go through the thawing and freezing cycle again and again. Okay? Because it may take some time for you to again come out and come to your house. If you have bought the refrigerated or the frozen food right in the beginning, and then you're doing your shopping, which may take another half an hour to 45 minutes, it's very likely that this refrigerated and the frozen food will lose its temperature. The temperature may start rising. And by the time you go home, the product may be completely disintegrated. Sometimes it may lead to a food safety risk as well. The microbial growth in the food can rise. When you're buying this refrigerated or frozen foods, please check the temperatures of the freezer or the refrigerator if it is possible. Otherwise, I'll tell you a best way to identify. If you're buying a frozen food, just touch it and see. It should be rock hard. You know what's rock hard? Like if you hit somebody with it, the head might break. That hard it should be. So the frozen food has to be rock hard. And in case of a refrigerated food, it has to be cold enough. It has to be cold enough that you cannot touch it for a long time. Okay? So please be sure about this. Now, this is one of the etiquettes as a buyer we must always follow. When we are going to the counter, and if you think that, oh, this material I don't want, please don't leave it at the counter. Please go back and put it in the shelf, or give it to the manager and tell them to put it back. And this is definitely true for any refrigerated or frozen product. If you're giving it to them back at the counter, it will take them some time to put it back into the freezer or refrigerator. By that time, the food might get spoiled. Now you have come out, okay, but somebody else might pick up that product, which may have become unsafe over a period. We do not know. So please let us start following this practice. Then before you check out, check every product for their packaging integrity. You know why I'm talking again and again about the packaging integrity? Any idea? Any idea why I'm talking about it?
It will decide the freshness of the package.
Okay, what else? What else could be there?
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Could it be that it has been adulterated?
Yeah, possible. Like if you can see some signs where, you think that something has come off, but that you should have checked before also, when you were picking it up from the shelf.
Ma'am, because packaging is a silent salesman, which always gives all information. So,
okay.
Ma'am, can you please ask the question again?
So see, a simple thing could happen. Okay, you have bought a number of things, right? And when you're actually checking out, some product in packing integrity must have got disintegrated. So what can you do in those cases?
Ma'am, in that case, we'll be in the shop. In which shop we'll be taking? We'll speak to the proprietor as this is no proper seal. will be showing to him and lodging a complaint.
Maybe not even lodge a complaint. See, at times, if the product is a dry product, you can ask them for some additional packing, okay, and bring it back. There is no problem.
Upon the
but
material,
upon the product. It depends upon the product that you're taking, okay? And if you see that the packaging is completely stripped apart, okay, then definitely you have to talk to them and give it back to them. But ensure that you do not, put them in trouble. Please understand, why we are talking about this. This is a very, very critical thing because packaging integrity actually is important with respect to maintaining the safety of the product. So we are really careful that we are safe. We are buying safe products. But when the packaging integrity has got disintegrated because of some mistake we did, let us own it up. Let us own it up and let us tell them.
If we
that,
won't,
okay, please provide an additional packing for this and seal it and give it to me. Simple, very simple. Okay? Or else you may actually damage the product further. That is also possible. Now, one important thing that you must remember when you're buying groceries and other stuff, if you have bought any refrigerated or frozen food, please head back home immediately so that the product does not go through a thawing phase. Are you aware what is a thawing phase?
The term called?
Thawing. Any idea what does it mean?
Yes, it is done for the food which is refrigerator. Generally, it is done also for
frozen
the
to chilled state.
frozen fruit. Yes.
Correct.
Frozen
so
to
what
chilled
happens
state.
is, whenever you're buying frozen foods, if you're not coming back home immediately, many of us, we buy food, then we move around in the mall, then we actually watch a movie as well, then we go for a long drive, and then we head back home. So by that time, this frozen food, which was at -18 at one point of time, when you took it out of the freezer, has now actually come in the positive range. So it is maybe at around +4, +5, or maybe even +10. And in that state, the food is actually quite risky. Why? Because anything that has gone through this phase is already in a stressed phase. So if there are any microbes in the food, which were actually earlier, managed due to the freezing part, will now become active. As a result of it, the food might become unsafe. The shelf life given to you was maybe 1 year, but now you do not know. The shelf life might get reduced to maybe a couple of days. Who knows? Okay, so please let that thing not happen. Worse is that when you bring that product home and you put it again back in the freezer, it has actually gone to freezing, thawing, freezing phase. So, a big example of this, though it is not a food safety risk, but at least about the disintegration of the product, is your ice creams. Have you all seen this happening in ice creams?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now when the ice cream has gone through a thawing phase and it has again come back to freezing because you put it back in the freezer and now you want to consume it, will it be the same as you have it earlier?
No.
Why? What happened now?
It will be in the liquid form.
More than the liquid, there will be a lot of crystallization inside. So they will be all ice crystals.
It's not good for health also.
No, it's not about health, but it is the product integrity is lost. Do you get that? In case of frozen foods, for example, your value-added products, which you get, say frozen parathas, frozen chapatis, frozen samosas, frozen gravies. In that case, definitely there could be a concern with microbial proliferation in the food. So microbes can start growing and it will make the product unsafe if there is a thawing phase happening for a longer time. So whenever you're buying such products, please ensure that you head back home immediately and put them in the freezer.
Maximum that type of food we should avoid it.
Local shop and all.
Why? Because, there is nothing like avoiding any food, because all these foods, as I said, are made in facilities which are probably the best in the world. Okay. So
Ma'am,
as a buyer, we can be responsible in handling those foods. We should be responsible in managing them after we buy it. Okay.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Now, during this pandemic, a lot of online foods we are ordering, and that also has some frozen
Yeah,
foods.
we are coming to that only.
Okay.
So just
Okay.
hold on for a minute. The next
Sure,
slides
thank
are
you.
about it. Okay. Now there is something. So this was about our packaged foods, that is buying from stores or supermarkets and bringing them home. Next, we talk about food that is directly retailed. For example, eating in a restaurant, eating eating on the streets, or maybe doing takeaways. There is something called as a threat perception among us, and that is eating at a restaurant versus eating street foods. What is this? What is this threat perception?
Hygienic conditions.
Hygienic condition.
Okay, so one feels that if you're eating at a restaurant, the food is very good, it is hygienically prepared, and you're hygienically going to eat it, correct? Hello?
Actually, there is a risk in both the places.
No, but this is a threat perception that I'm talking about.
Yes,
Okay?
generally.
Generally. And when you're eating a street food, what is the threat perception around it?
Bacterial infections.
Okay.
Adulterant.
So his that food may be adulterated. There could be bacterial infection. But let's honestly speak about this. Don't we like street foods?
Yes.
Yeah. It's honest, actually, In fact, in this pandemic times, we don't get to eat street foods, and that has caused so much of a concern to all of us at home. Yes, no, maybe?
Yes,
Homemakers.
because we don't eat street
Yeah,
foods.
street. They put it in bottle and storing for a long time, ma'am.
Street foods have been?
For example, in tea shop, no, there were the biscuits and all, no, once open, they are putting in a bottle for a long time.
Whatever it is, but I'm talking generally about street
the craze-
food.
madam, the
And we
craze
love
for-
eating street foods. Yes, no, or
No, the-
maybe.
Yeah, the craze for street foods is still there. People are really missing street foods. And,
Exactly. More
but
than
if-
missing street foods, they have become an integral part of our life. Okay? So the
Exactly.
threat perception is what? कि ठीक है, हम अगर रास्ते पे खा लेते हैं कुछ, तो क्या होगा, ज्यादा से ज्यादा थोड़ा सा पेट खराब हो जाएगा, बट वो ठीक हो जाएगा. Yes or no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
Not
because
many
of
of us actually link it to something big.
No.
Yeah, maybe
this is
because
the
of
passing phase.
oil.
Yeah. So please understand, forget the oil, forget adulteration, forget everything else. We are just talking about the threat perception, okay? Because this is what we see. Now, inside of some awareness around hygiene, we have started telling our pani puri walas, अरे तूने gloves नहीं पहने, अरे तूने mask नहीं लगाया, तू पानी कहाँ से लाता है? अच्छा तूने इसको बराबर से पकाया कि नहीं? Yes or no? Did you do this earlier? Maybe say 5 years ago. Did we ever ask this to our pani puri wala?
No.
No. So that's how it is. So please understand that we as consumers also have a threat perception with which we treat a particular food. Okay? So the moment we start demanding good food, we start demanding safe food, we will start getting safe food. Next, we come to our food deliveries and takeaways. Now, somebody just asked this question.
Hello.
Hello.
May I ask why your video isn't on, please? Why can't I see your photograph or your video on the screen?
I just did not put it on. There was no specific reason. But when we come to the Q&A, I will put it on. Don't worry.
Can't we
I'll
have
do
you on? The rest of us are with our videos and, muted. But if you could keep your screen on, that makes it so much better on the interaction.
At least, madam, we can see you.
Yes.
Sure, I'll do it in the Q&A session. Just hold on. I'll do that. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So next we come to the consumers of food deliveries and takeaways. So first thing, please note that every food has got a shelf life. So when you are ordering a food through an app or in a restaurant, that food is meant to be consumed immediately. So it is not that they will deliver the food now and you may eat it in the evening or late night. So it has got a shelf life. So if the product has to remain safe, okay. So after a lot of scientific study, it has been found that the cooked food can remain safe to a maximum of 3 to 4 hours, okay, if left at a room temperature. So when you are actually ordering foods, please ensure that you consume it immediately. Now this 3 to 4 hours is good enough in a hotel or somewhere where there is catering, because there is a lot of monitoring happening there. So temperatures are being monitored continuously. Everyone is looking at it. At home, we generally do not do this. And at home, we do not even know how to really get a good sense of temperature of the food. So the best thing to do is that if you're receiving any food delivery, or if you have taken some takeaway from a restaurant, as soon as you bring it home, please consume it immediately. And then the basic checks that you need to do for the foods that have been delivered are, first look at the packaging. Okay, please see to it that the packaging is proper. There is no leakage, nothing. Check the aroma. Please ensure that there is no off smell. Do you know an off smell, all of you? All of you, do you know the off smell?
Yes.
Yes, something which is unpleasant, ma'am.
It is very unpleasant, correct.
Yeah.
So look for it. And then also check for the hotness or the coldness of the food. Why I'm saying coldness? Because many a times you may actually order frozen foods. Now there are a number of e-commerce platforms which actually deliver frozen foods at home. So please check it before you take it. And the best thing to check for the frozen food, the way I said, when you touch it, it has to be rock hard. So the more, if it is rock hard, accept it. Otherwise, just return it back. No problem. When it comes to refrigerated foods, ensure that it is cold enough. Okay. When it comes to the hotness of the food, please ensure that the food is really hot. Okay. Not like it has become lukewarm or something. No, it has to be hot. Clear about this? Now, one thing is there that if you are not consuming this food immediately, please store it properly. And the best thing that you can do is refrigerate it. Now, refrigerating any food when you're preparing at home, or even if you have bought it through a takeaway, please ensure that it is cooled enough before you put it in the fridge. Tell me a good reason why I'm saying this. Hello? Why I'm telling you to cool it sufficiently before putting it in the fridge?
Because little bit warm means the moisture will be collected and the chances of growing microbes will be more.
Yeah, so there could be microbial proliferation if there is a lot of moisture and if there is heat also, heat available, okay? Because then the food will not get cooled sufficiently well, right? So there is again a science around it, how the food should be cooled. But at home, since we do not cook it in bulk, we should just be careful that it is cold enough before we put it in the fridge. So this was about us being consumers, okay? Now we come to homemakers, and each one of us are a homemaker, okay? So we have a strong responsibility towards ourselves. So we need to keep ourselves safe. We have to safeguard ourselves from any infection or ill health. Then we have to safeguard our family and also safeguard our society. Towards the end of the session, I'll tell you a good story about this. There's a very beautiful story here about a responsibility of a homemaker. So when we are catering to these responsibilities, can you tell me why I'm saying we have a responsibility towards our society also?
Ma'am, what goes around comes around.
Okay. What else?
Disposal of waste.
Okay. What more? as far as unsafe food is concerned, let's talk in that domain.
By seeing others will be learning.
We could spread
Not really.
contagious diseases.
Very good.
Yeah.
You know, like that's something, you know, if there's a foodborne disease around, we have to be very careful about it, because we may knowingly or unknowingly spread it around. Okay, so we have a responsibility towards everybody. Does it look like our kitchen? Hello? Why are all quiet?
You are showing the
Hello?
ground reality, madam. That's okay.
Yes, what is it?
You are showing the ground reality, what is happening in every household.
Correct. And you know what? There is nothing bad around it. Please understand. This is our kitchen, and it's up to us to make it clean and nice and beautiful, whatever. And does it not look like a kitchen where the operation is in progress right now? Can we think of a kitchen where we will not drop even a small pinch of turmeric on the platform before putting it into the pan? होता है क्या ऐसा? मेरे किचन में तो नहीं होता है. सही में नहीं होता है. और मैं आप लोगों को एक सच बात बताऊं, ये मेरा ही किचन है, जिसके मैंने आज ही पिक्चर्स लिए आप सबको दिखाने के लिए. ठीक है? So the thing is that the moment we know that yes, the kitchen is like this, we can actually put it up right. Yes or no? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
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 Okay, so nothing to worry. Okay?
Yes, yes, very true.
Now.
Very honest, madam.
Very honest and authentic.
So
Nobody
we
will
are
tell
a
this.
homemaker. We are a homemaker and we have our kitchen. That kitchen is our pride. Yes or no? Hello?
Yes. Very much.
Very much. Okay. And that kitchen is made up of us.
Yes.
Okay. So the main things that, you know, make a big difference in that kitchen is we ourselves. Then, of course, if we have a house help, our house help also makes a big difference. Yes or no? And then it's our responsibility to manage the raw material, to manage the ingredients, to manage the kitchen equipments, to manage the processes we follow, and to manage the kitchen environment. Correct? I'm not saying anything different. We all have been doing it. True?
Yes.
Yep. So now just, you know, I wanted to show you these pictures because I wanted to bring out something. What can you really see in this picture? Okay, we'll have to go a little faster because we have another 15 minutes left. So it would be great if you can respond quickly, all of you.
A very typical kitchen scene where we keep our vegetables, you know, before we wish to cut them.
Correct.
And food prepared is also kept on the just next page.
Besides it, correct.
Soon as the raw materials are being chopped, it should put in oil immediately. It should not kept for a longer time.
Now, you know, it is easy for all of us to say, we should not be doing it this way. Okay, but many of us may not really have very big kitchens. We have very small kitchen platforms where we end up doing a lot of things together. But yes, there can be care taken here as well. So consider there are some raw foods along with some prepared foods. Okay, so the best way to take care here is what? What could I have done here?
To cover the cooked food.
Perfect. So I could have just covered the cooked food, and then this raw food, I could have actually kept it a little more at a distance, and then I could have cut it. Correct?
Yeah.
So this is just to let you know about the sources, how the food can get contaminated from the raw food to the cooked food. Okay? You can see that there is also a beetroot here, which is actually a vegetable which grows in the soil. So if I have not washed it properly, it will actually bring with it a lot of soil microbes, which could actually find way into my food. okay, and make the food unsafe for consumption. The simple thing is that we could have actually, I could have just covered the food and I could have then cut the vegetables. This was especially for the salad. I could have cut the salad separately, nicely, and kept it aside. Right? Okay. Now, this is a big concern for each one of us. Yes, no? Many of us are not having the house help these days. And
Yeah.
how many times in a day this is the scenario in our sink?
Well, at least twice, thrice.
Twice.
Correct. Aren't we tired of washing the vessels?
Yes.
Unless we have a good music and some movie along with us.
Agreed. Agreed. We have to find our ways to empower ourselves to do the work.
Yeah.
Right. So essentially, it is important that we follow something called clean as you go. Right? Because the more the vessels keep piling up, you will have more pests coming in. Right? You will attract flies. You will attract those Drosophila. You will attract different things around. So it's important that we wash them as soon as we can. Okay? Now, our equipments, can you recognize them? Which equipment I'm talking
Microwave.
about? Microwave. Yeah.
Microwave.
Yeah. What has happened there in the microwave?
It's got corrupt, this one.
Something has spilled over it.
Corrosive.
Yeah.
No,
Food
more than
spillage.
corrosive. Okay, there is food spillage in that. And if
Not
I do
cleaned.
not clean it, what will happen?
Microbes.
Microbes will begin growing.
Yeah.
Right? And the next picture is of what?
The terrial.
This is what?
Inside the fridge. No.
Correct. It's the freezer actually.
Oh.
And how is it dumped?
Very irresponsibly.
Very irresponsibly, right? Now, if you do not handle your equipments well, they will give up.
Yep.
By all means.
By all means, correct? And they can be a source of contamination. Now, if I do not clean the microwave and I put the next thing in, what could happen?
It'll contaminate my next
also
food.
get contaminated.
Yeah, I may contaminate it, right? In fact, even in the freezer, if I don't keep stuff properly, look at it. There is some paneer, there is some cheese, there is some green peas, there are some frozen parathas, everything kept together. Just, put together. So we have to organize, and only we can do it. If you tell somebody else to do it, they will not be able to do it. It's our equipment, our baby. Right? Now here, can you suggest anything?
Wow. It looks so good.
Not
But
stored
it is not
properly.
good.
Yeah,
But
it is not
good.
either.
Right. So see,
What is wrong actually? I'm trying to figure out.
yeah, that's the point. See, the webinar is for this, that we do not see our own blind spots.
Yeah.
Freeze.
It's having those perfect clips and everything.
Yeah.
It's got the plastic clips. It's got the bottles. Okay, I'm looking at the left side right now.
What could happen if we stack things like this?
Yes, circulation will
The moisture will not be distributed
No,
properly.
It is unorganized.
It is more than unorganized. What may
You
happen?
can't find, and bacteria or cockroaches.
No,
Correct.
I can't see any problem here actually.
No, problem here is that your packaging might get disintegrated at any point of time.
How? Which one?
Anywhere. If there is some weight, something. See, can you
Slide.
see the packet of snacks kept above the biscuits?
Small holes can happen because of weight.
Yeah. Correct.
Uh-huh.
Or
Okay.
if you
So we
try
have to be very careful
one,
about all these things. Okay.
yeah, if you try to take one, the others may fall off.
Yes.
Correct. Exactly. Right. Then you look at the fridge. Yeah. What is wrong with the fridge?
There are many open things.
Correct. And especially in a fridge, if you keep things open like this, a lot of things may actually get problematic.
Yeah, even the
Listen,
chilled water can fall into condensed water.
condensed water can fall into it. If you have kept, say for example, there are these eggs kept here.
Yeah.
The microbes from the shell of the eggs might actually travel into other product if it's kept open.
Oh.
Too many things are kept.
Correct. Can you see that?
But it really goes to say that why we are overstocking ourselves.
No, that is the reason.
There could be many reasons for it. See, many of us may be actually working, so we buy a lot of things together because we do not have too much time to go to the supermarket and other stuff. But keeping all that wherever it is, still it is, we can organize it, correct? We can keep it right.
Yeah, we can.
Right?
No, that is the reason fridge has a different section for each and everything, like frozen items,
Exactly.
egg rack.
Correct. Exactly. Right? Can you remember this? ये याद आता है किसी को कुछ?
Dil Chahta, no, this Three Idiots.
Wow.
Oh God, Jesus, so obnoxious a picture.
and you know, this could be the story of any household. Please let me tell you.
I'm not going to any dhaba now.
But can you see, even with picture, we feel it this way. And there could be many people who are not aware of food safety or hygiene, and they live through it.
Ma'am, I see my vegetable vendor. I see that he happily scratches his balls before he lifts the tray. I am not going to him again.
No, but you know why? See, my main intention of doing this webinar like this for homemakers was that please try and educate your house helps. Please try and educate people around you. You know, you will do a great job. Right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So these are some contamination sources. When I say food handlers or the people, we are ourselves food handlers. The packaging material can bring in contamination. If you have pets at home or if there are birds coming in and other stuff, they can bring in contamination. Insects, rodents, they can be sources of contamination. Your raw materials that you bring in can be source of contamination. If your water is not treated properly, it can be a source of contamination. The dust, the soil, the sewage, anything can be a source of contamination. And can you see all of them are there in your house or around your house? Yes, no?
100%.
Yeah, right? So let us go through some habits or practices. You know, by virtue of growing up in the Indian culture, we already have a number of hygienic practices in place.
Many
yes, no?
forms.
Yes.
So we wash our hands very often.
Yes.
We keep our hair tied up or covered when we are in the kitchen.
Correct.
We keep our nails short.
Well,
we should if we are okay. And also, please, did you ever notice that our grandmothers never applied nail polish?
Yeah, god damn right.
Can you give me a good reason for this?
Mehndi lagao.
Yeah, what is it?
Nail polish get chipped off, like when you are kneading the dough.
Yeah.
That's the reason that till date I don't like to wear nail polish.
Correct. And you know that nail polish carries lead.
Yes.
Yes. Please get this. Okay, your nail polishes, maybe your lipstick, they all have lead.
Mehndi lagao.
हाँ मेहंदी लगाओ मेहंदी से कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ठीक है so nail polish try and avoid maybe you can't but try and avoid using clean water you know I'll tell you a small thing हम लोगों ने बहुत सारे पुराने हिंदी पिक्चर में भी देखा है कि गांव में ना वो औरतें जो मटका होता है पानी भर के फिर सिर पे लेकर जाती है क्यों या फिर she holds it by her hand in the around the waist why
While walking, the dust should not.
Superb. You know, this is so scientific. Just get this.
What is that?
While you walk, कच्चे रास्ते होते हैं गांव के, तो वो mud और dust जो है वो उड़ता रहता है आपके पीछे पीछे.
It will fly and fall into the water.
Yeah, so your water can get contaminated with it. Okay. And you may have also seen when they come back home, they filter the water through a muslin. Yeah. So that's by habit. Right? Jigar ji, आपकी आवाज आ रही है.
Yes, filter the water like yeah.
Then whenever you bring in vegetables, especially root vegetables, please clean them up. Okay. In the industry, we have a practice of cleaning the vegetables with 50 ppm chlorine solution. So even at home, if you want to do this, you can buy sodium hypochlorite, okay? And you may clean the vegetables, but you have to be careful about the quantity because even excessive chlorine can damage. And
Are
it
they
can
these pink
become unsafe.
crystals?
Yes.
Are they these pink crystals, right?
No, the sodium hypochlorite is a liquid usually available in liquid form. Okay. But otherwise, if you're cleaning the vegetables with clean water very well, that itself is good enough.
Clean water, and I use this rock salt.
Yeah, I was
Maybe rock salt also. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Then one thing that we need to adopt is we should not be speaking during cooking. Okay. Then cleaning everything as you go. Then keeping all the food covered. And I have seen this particular practice very much in my house. I'm sure it must be happening in many other houses too. Cooking the vegetarian food first and then cooking the non-vegetarian food. Any reason for this?
I don't know, but because maybe some the infection from this one can contaminate the entire oil.
So the non-vegetarian foods actually have a very high microbial load.
Oh.
Okay. So when you're keeping maybe your vegetarian food and if you're trying to cook both of them side by side, there is a very high chance that your equipments might get exchanged.
Is it the reason people people keep separate vessels to cook vegetarian and non-vegetarian?
Yes.
I'm a vegetarian, but I heard about it.
Yeah, no, we have done it. Okay, in my house, this has been a practice. Correct. So if you have to cook chicken, mutton, or anything, that is cooked in the end. So even so that you don't interchange the ladle, you don't interchange the pans, you know, all those things. Because the non-vegetarian foods usually have a different microbial profile.
Yeah, chicken has salmonella.
Many of them, like many microbes. Correct. So that is
avoiding
something that
cross-contamination.
Yeah, exactly. It is to prevent cross-contamination. So something that we should look forward to is keeping our kitchen free of clutter. Now, this is something that I want to request each one of you to do. Okay, we have a lot of things in our kitchen. If you look back, at the most you use maybe one pressure cooker, maybe 2 kadhais, 3
We have separate vessels.
and some 4 to 5 containers in which you keep the food. But if you look into your kitchen, just see how many vessels you have in there. So try and keep them somewhere separate. Maybe a good storage place for excessive vessels is also the storage of your the under the bed, the storage under the bed. You know, the more you keep your kitchen clean, the pests will not come and infest. Right? Then use covered waste bins. Okay, let them be always covered. Then best if your kitchen windows are netted, so that your flies and other things don't come in. Then whatever equipments you have in your kitchen and their wires, it is important that you secure them properly. Why are we talking about securing them properly? Hello?
Bacteria can sit in between the wires.
More than that, it is physical hazard, if at all.
It could be a physical hazard, and many a times these wires, if it is in close contact with the hot equipment, it can actually melt away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And find way into your food also. And about equipment cleaning, I want to tell you one simple, sweet and small story. Few days back, my daughter wanted to make cold coffee. So she tried using the mixer, managed to do everything. And then, of course, as kids do, the coffee actually spilled out. And as cleaning goes, she did not know a lot about it. So she cleaned everything, surface cleaned, everything cleaned. 2 days later, I started seeing some worms coming out of the mixer, the lower portion of it, which holds the motor. Okay? So what happened exactly was all that coffee and the milk stuff actually went inside. And it gave a good breeding place to the worms. So whenever you're cleaning, please ensure that you clean it well, clean it nice, clean it properly. Okay. Now, whenever you're handling glass and ceramic containers or plates in your kitchen, please handle them with care. Glass is one of the most difficult hazards. First is you cannot see it, and if it goes in with the food inside your mouth, it can be disastrous. So please be careful about it. Same goes with any metal piece also. Okay. Now, this is one thing that also you can follow is that whenever you're getting food products, if you're buying carton load or if you're bringing them in the cardboard boxes, please don't bring the cardboard boxes or the cartons into your kitchen. Keep them outside. Bring the content in.
Oh no, why?
Because the cardboard boxes or cartons many a times can actually have very tiny pests.
Oh, never
Okay,
thought
or
about
they
it.
may also have cockroach eggs. Okay, so as far as possible, keep them out. When I'm talking of cardboard boxes, they are those master cartons, okay? Not the Duplay boxes that come with the product. No, not the ones. The cardboard boxes.
The
in
one
which
that
you,
they use for packing. I mean,
yeah, the one that they use for packing. Maybe 12
huh.
packs of Tetra Pak milk are kept in one. So that box I'm talking about. Okay. Now, also another thing that you should be careful about is if there is any work going on in your kitchen, please ensure that you're not doing any cooking at that time. And you have not kept anything open. You know, you
Can we
never
close
know.
it?
Yeah, just a last point.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So there could be nuts, bolts, mud, metal piece, anything that might get entry into the food if you are not careful about it. Okay, so be careful. Now, this last point is very critical for people who make a number of different things at home. Okay, whenever you're making any food, as far as possible, okay, try and make it without adding any synthetic ingredient. For example, food color, essence, or anything for that matter. And even if you're using it, please read the instructions properly and use them only in the recommended quantities. Can you tell me a reason why I'm telling you this?
No. My mother
If
uses
you-
it randomly.
If you use excessive of these, please understand they are synthetic ingredients. Cumulative use, that is if you're using them continuously, over a period, it will have an impact on your vital organs.
Oh.
Especially the liver. Okay, so use them sparingly, but use it the way it is recommended. When we are using them in our factories, we have actually weighing scales to exactly weigh the quantity and add them in the product. At home, we may not have them. And when we use them in the factories, we use them in the proper way. There is a way to use ingredients and a step to add it and everything. At home, we cannot follow all that.
Ma'am,
yeah.
Sometimes there are no instructions mentioned on certain things.
No,
Like
if there
I
are no
have a right now
instructions, you have to be very careful. That means you're not buying it from the correct source. Please be careful about it.
What about vinegar? Vinegar is also.
So there is the vinegar actually has been used over a period as a preservative. So don't worry about it.
Okay, thank you.
No, this is
Okay.
like clove oil, and it says
No,
no.
clove oil
preservative.
is not a problem. Clove oil is actually a natural ingredient. It is not a synthetic
So it
ingredient.
will not have a expiry date.
No, it will not have.
Okay.
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 Right?
Yeah. Thank you.
And whenever you're actually seeing your kitchen, most of us use pickles. Yeah. If you see in pickles, there is some kind of abnormality. You know what I mean by abnormality.
Yeah.
Some off color, or if there is water separating out, please throw away that pickle. Don't try to use it further. Because there could be fungal growth, which you're not able to see. And many a times, there could be formation of toxins, which could be hazardous for health.
Ma'am, at times, I have a question. At times, if the bigger jar is there of pickle and if you see something on the surface, I have seen people, they remove
Removing
one
the
top
stump.
layer
Yeah.
and then using the rest of it.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, but then that is not safe. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
that is-
saying.
yeah,
That
that's
is
what I
unsafe.
wanted to.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so with this, we finished the part of the webinar that we wanted to do today. If you have any questions, you all may please ask.
Ma'am, I want to ask one question. I have this concern about the chopping boards. Like we have wooden chopping boards, and at the same time the Teflon one also.
Okay.
But is it safe to use the Teflon one, because when we are chopping something, there are cuts on the board, and the fibers can also go along with the food. So is it really safe to use that Teflon board instead of like wooden?
See, wooden board, definitely a no-no. Okay. Because when you're using a wooden board, there could be wooden chips, which you may not notice, and it may find way into your food. As far as Teflon boards are concerned, please monitor them. See, anything that you use, you have to monitor it carefully and monitor it regularly. Right?
Okay.
Madam, can you just tell the kind of where we can use in the microwave oven? Because some people use plastic.
What you want to use?
Yeah. What kind of?
You have microwavable containers.
Yeah, and the Tupperware.
You have to look for instructions. Again, see, I'm coming back again and again to the same point that you have to look for instructions. Even when you're using containers, look for instructions. Glass containers, definitely they are inert. So microwaving in glass containers is just not a problem. Okay. But when you're using any other container, check out if that can be used in a microwave.
Yeah, but how do I check up? For example, there are these mug,
There are different marks.
Case.
No, there are marks on the containers. You have to look for them.
Ma'am,
You will see those markings.
And what will it show? How the marking will look like?
Like a zigzag.
It could be a zigzag. It is there. Yeah.
Okay.
There will be a bowl and there will be a wave sort of thing coming out.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that means it's open for microwaving.
Exactly. Yes.
So, ma'am, one important parallel question: can microwaving is equal to the OTG or no?
No, they are two different things.
Oh, okay.
The
So when they say
principle itself is very
microwavable,
different. Yeah.
it doesn't mean that you cannot put in the OTG also, because we have put many things in the OTG and it works pretty fine. But I get microwave
You
is higher
can
temperatures.
see when it is talking about heating the food, it is fine. See, microwave and OTG have got different principles of functioning, but they will definitely heat the product. And
No,
in
like the
OTG,
mug cakes,
in
for
OTG,
example, the
you
mug
may be
cakes.
able to use even a stainless steel bowl, but in the microwave you cannot. But that has got nothing to do with food safety.
Okay, madam, I've heard of this air fryer with an OTG combination.
Okay.
It's Havel. So is it worth air fryer? I mean, well, they say less oil and all that.
The function for which you want to use. Air fryer definitely is the one which you can use when you are concerned about the oil content.
Okay. So this Havel thing they're looking is
already time is
10,000
up.
plus.
We have taken.
If you have any questions about
please,
food
mail.
safety or hygiene, I think what I'll do is I'll share my email ID with all of you. If you all have any questions, you can actually send those questions across to me. Okay?
Oh, that will be great.
Yeah. So you can just write down the email ID. It is Datta DATTA.
Yeah.
.Krishna KRISHNA @gmail.com.
And on what topics can we ask you, ma'am? Because we'll keep on asking you on everything otherwise.
Predominantly food safety.
Okay.
Or else whenever we are doing some more topics, I'll invite each one of you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very nice.
So I have put my email ID in the chat box also, so you can see the email ID there.
Ma'am, it's very informative.
Thank you so much. And I just hope I have added some value to this webinar.
I request if it is in Hindi.
Okay, I will do that next time. Definitely, I'll do that. My request, each one of you who has attended this webinar is please share the information and the knowledge that you gained here with people around you, especially your house helps, your vegetable vendors, people who would like to know more about this, okay? Because that's the only way we can reach out to a number of people.
Will you be sharing your presentation with us?
Yeah, we will share this presentation also. After 30th, this presentation will be available on the YouTube. Okay, we will post the link to all of you.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. So thank you so much for your patience.
Wonderful participation and very good informative sharing session by Madam Krishna Datta. Thank you, madam, for a wonderful informative session. And I'm afraid I have to close it down. I know the questions are many, but I think it will be addressed to the ma'am's email ID. And thank you very much. Tomorrow's webinar topic is retail trends and traders food safety, and tomorrow will be the last validity session. And please participate in tomorrow's session and interact and make the session.
Ram sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Can I make one announcement?
Yeah, please.
Thank you, Krishna ma'am and Mr. Appaji Rao. Tomorrow is the last day of the program of the series of webinars. So I request all the faculty members who have there, and I especially invite Krishna ma'am and Appaji Rao, who has been the brain behind this scheme, to be present and receive the vote of thanks. And also
sure, we'll be there. Sure,
okay.
We'll be there.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Sir. Thank you for
Have a great
Thank
evening.
Thank you.
Have
you.
a safe time ahead. Thank you.
Ma'am, under what name is
Wonderful session.